in terms of energy or broad natural resources needs for China, I guess strategy has to come to resolve those primarily from domestic. What you mentioned is the acquisitions overseas or overseas investment. That is one new development, started only a few years back, and definitely will go more and more because I think the Chinese has enough of U.S. Treasury on hands, and they know that in the long run that is not probably going to give a reasonable return. There will be resistance for sure because party is Chinese, which will be seen as different. Second, it is done mostly by the state-owned enterprises, which is branded as government. Here, there will be it will offer some opportunity for people in Hong Kong, business people in Hong Kong. I think first, our knowledge about international market is more. Second, our identity is less of a state or government. We have already heard some or seen some transactions done through either you can say as a proxy or representative of Hong Kong companies. I guess that will develop more and more when the Chinese try to reach out. But it is something actually I think the international community should also take a slightly different view on it. Many people see the Chinese overseas investment as repeating what many of the Western companies have done 100 years ago, when branded as exploiting and colonial or whatever. It's no doubt there will be some like that. Everyone who wants to go overseas and make a profit may try to make as much as profit they can. But there are also another, the flip side of it. Cross-border investment actually is one thing which have helped us to prevent us to go into another war since the Second World War. I think the biggest invention since the Second World War is that we found a way, at least for the last 60 years, to get away from fighting each other, but trading with each other to get a benefit. When you have so much interest in other people's or other countries' places, you don't have interest to fight the place or bomb the place. It is the first step that Chinese start to invest overseas. The more interest they have offshore, of course on a mutually beneficial way, the more secure they feel and the more secure we are as a host for the Chinese. The same as when more foreign firms invest in China, they see China as a home and they feel there's an interest for them to protect and encourage China to grow faster and better. So I guess that is, in that perspective, I would expect and encourage more of this Chinese overseas investment. But the downside of those processes is get to be well managed or better managed. But going back to your first question of can they use all these offshore resources to resolve the problem? Chance is very slim. As I said, that if they need, they just get on pumping the oil from outside, they probably take all the oil well to satisfy themselves. But there's huge potential for them to conserve, and hopefully technology has grown to the extent I'm not an expert on coal gasification and purification, but what I heard from some of our clients is that several years back, about 5 years back, the Chinese is well behind technology of coal gasification and purification. Now, some of the top firms in this area is going to China to try to understand how can they do it, make it so well, and they have leapfrogged the technology. And coal, if they will manage to get coal to replace oil, and as clean as oil, or more, even better, then many of the energy problems could be resolved because coal is abundant in China, and same in India. So I hope technology can help, but investment is also very important.